The autumn leaves scattered across the courtyard of Riverside, high as Marcus Chen adjusted his backpack straps for the third time that morning. First day at a new school. Again, his dad's job had them moving every couple of years. And Marcus had perfected the art of being invisible. Just keep your head down, make it through senior year, and then college, he muttered to himself. Pulling open the heavy doors to the main building, the hallways buzzed with the chaotic energy of students reuniting after summer break. Lockers. Slammed laughter echoed off the walls, and Marcus felt the familiar knot in his stomach tighten. He checked his phone for his locker number 217, second floor. Watch out. Marcus barely had time to process the warning before someone crashed into him, sending both of them stumbling. Papers scattered across the floor like confetti. "Oh man, I'm so sorry." The voice belonged to a tall guy with sandy brown hair that fell into his eyes. He was already crouching down, frantically gathering the scattered papers. "I wasn't looking where I was going. Coach is going to kill me if I'm late to morning practice again." "It's fine," Marcus said quietly. Kneeling to help collect his schedule and registration forms, their hands touched briefly as they both reached for the same paper. The other guy looked up, and Marcus found himself staring into warm hazel eyes that seemed to catch the morning light streaming through the windows. "I'm Tyler Rodriguez," he grinned, a dimple appearing in his left cheek. "And I'm usually less of a disaster, I promise." Marcus Chen. He took his papers back, trying not to notice how Tyler's varsity jacket had the words captain embroidered on it, or how his smile seemed genuine in a way that made Marcus's defenses waver slightly. "First day? That obvious? I've lived here my whole life. I know everyone." Tyler stood up, offering Marcus a hand. Marcus hesitated for just a second before taking it, letting Tyler pull him to his feet. "What's your first class?" AP English with Mrs. Patterson." Tyler's eyes lit up. "No way. That's my class too. Come on, I'll show you where it is."
Yeah.
And hey, he threw an arm casually around Marcus's shoulders as they walked. "Welcome to Riverside." It's not the worst place in the world. Marcus's entire body went rigid at the contact. Tyler was just being friendly. That's what popular jock guys did, right? They were all casual touches and easy camaraderie. Didn't mean anything. It couldn't mean anything. "You okay?" Tyler asked, noticing the tension. "Yeah, just... ... Not really a morning person." Tyler laughed, finally dropping his arm. "Fair enough. Neither am I, but Coach doesn't care about our circadian rhythms." As they walked through the halls, Marcus noticed how everyone seemed to know Tyler. People called out greetings, girls giggled as they passed, and guys gave him fist bumps. Tyler acknowledged them all with that easy smile, but he kept his attention on Marcus, pointing out important landmarks. "That's the cafeteria, avoid the meatloaf on Thursdays." "That's the gym, you play any sports?" "Not really. That's cool." "Right." "You into?" Marcus shrugged. "Art, I guess. Photography? That's awesome. We actually have a pretty decent darkroom."
Ex-girlfriend.
Tyler stumbled slightly over the words. She was really into photography. "I can show you where it is later if you want." They reached Mrs. Patterson's classroom, and Tyler led Marcus to a pair of empty seats near the back. As other students filed in, Marcus couldn't help but observe how Tyler interacted with everyone. He was magnetic, but in a way that seemed effortless, natural. What Marcus didn't notice was how Tyler kept glancing at him throughout class.
Ow.
His leg bounced nervously under the desk, a habit Tyler usually only displayed before big games. 3 weeks into the school year, Marcus had settled into a comfortable routine. Keep his head down, go to class, eat lunch in the art room, avoid attention. It was working perfectly, except for Tyler Rodriguez. Somehow Tyler had decided they were friends. He saved Marcus a seat in English class, invited him to sit with his group at lunch. Marcus always declined and had a habit of appearing out of nowhere in the hallways. "Yo, Marcus." Tyler jogged up to him after school one Friday, his practice bag slung over his shoulder. "Some of us are grabbing pizza at Angelo's. Tonight, you should come." "So," Marcus said, adjusting his camera bag. He'd been planning to spend the evening downtown, capturing the golden hour light on the old buildings. "Come on, man. You can't spend every Friday night alone." Tyler's smile was pleading. It'll be fun. I promise. If it's terrible, you can leave. And I'll owe you, I don't know, coffee for a week. Marcus found himself wavering. I really should, please. Tyler's eyes did this thing where they got all soft and hopeful, and Marcus felt his resolve crumbling. Duh. I won't even make you talk to anyone if you don't want to. You can just eat pizza and judge us silently. Despite himself, Marcus laughed. Fine, but I'm holding you to that coffee promise when your friends are terrible. Tyler's face lit up, like Marcus had just told him he'd won the lottery. Awesome, I'll pick you up at 7. You don't know where I live? So tell me. Tyler pulled out his phone, ready to add the address. That's how Marcus found himself sitting in the passenger seat of Tyler's ancient Honda Civic that evening, listening to Tyler's carefully curated playlist of indie rock and old soul music. Fair warning, Tyler said as they pulled into Angelo's parking lot. Jake is probably going to try to arm wrestle you at some point. He does that with everyone. Sarah talks a lot, but she's actually really cool once you get past the fact that she never stops talking. You're really selling this experience, Marcus said dryly. Tyler grinned. I'm just preparing you. Inside Angelo's, they found Tyler's friends already crowded into a corner booth. True to Tyler's description, Jake immediately challenged Marcus to an arm wrestling match, which Marcus politely declined. And Sarah launched into a detailed story about her summer vacation before Marcus had even sat down. But what surprised Marcus's most was how Tyler stayed close to him the whole evening. When Jake started getting too loud, Tyler steered the conversation in a different direction. When Marcus got quiet, Tyler checked in with a subtle look or a gentle elbow to the eye. Ribs, you good? Tyler asked quietly, while the others argued about whether pineapple belonged on pizza. Yeah, actually. This is ... Nice. Tyler's smile was different this time, softer, more private. Good. I'm glad you came. Their knees were touching under the table. Marcus knew he should move away, create some distance, but he didn't. And Tyler didn't either. The thing about Tyler Rodriguez was that everyone thought they knew him. Star of the basketball team, popular, always smiling. Dating history that included some of the most sought-after girls at Riverside High, but Marcus was starting to see the gaps between who Tyler appeared to be and who he actually was. It started with small observations, the way Tyler's smile would slip when he thought no one was looking, how he'd go quiet when his teammates made certain jokes. The fact that he'd been single for nearly 6 months now, despite plenty of obvious interest. From girls at school, they'd fallen into a pattern of studying together at the library after school. Tyler claimed he needed help with English, though Marcus suspected he understood the material just fine. Why do you hang out with me? Marcus asked one afternoon, looking up from his copy of The Great Gatsby. Tyler seemed startled by the question. What do you mean? I mean you're you. Marcus gestured vaguely at Tyler's varsity jacket, his easy confidence. Not, your friends don't get it. I heard Jake asking why you're always with the weird art kid. Something flashed across Tyler's face, anger. Hurt? Maybe both? Jake's an idiot, and you're not weird. That's not really an answer. Tyler closed his textbook slowly, his jaw working like he was chewing over what to say. You're easy to be around. You don't expect me to be on all the time. You just... ... Let me be quiet when I need to be quiet. Do you know how rare that is? Marcus hadn't expected such raw honesty. Oh, plus, Tyler added, his tone lighter, but his eyes still serious? You're actually interesting. Everyone else just wants to talk about basketball or parties or whatever. You see things differently. Like that photo series you showed me, the one about empty spaces in the city. I never would have noticed that stuff, but the way you captured it... He trailed off, looking embarrassed. Thanks, Marcus said softly. They sat in silence for a moment, the weight of unspoken things hanging between them. Can I ask you something? Tyler's voice was barely above a whisper. And can you promise not to make it weird? Marcus's heart started racing, but he nodded. Do you ever feel like... Tyler paused, his fingers drumming nervously on the table. Like you're supposed to be a certain way, and you try really hard to be that way, but it never quite fits right. Like you're wearing a jacket that's too small, but everyone keeps telling you it looks great. The vulnerability in Tyler's eyes made Marcus's chest ache. He knew exactly what Tyler was describing. He'd felt it for years before finally accepting who he was. "Yeah," Marcus said carefully. "I know that feeling. How did you?" Tyler stopped, shook his head. "Never mind. Can't I said anything, but Marcus could see the question Tyler wasn't asking, could feel the weight of things Tyler couldn't yet say. "It gets easier," Marcus offered quietly. "When you stop trying to fit into the jacket." Tyler looked at him for a long moment, something desperate and hopeful in his expression. Then someone's phone rang, shattering the moment, and Tyler pulled back, his walls going up again. "We should probably actually study," he said. "Okay." Opening his textbook with hands that trembled slightly. Marcus wanted to push, to tell Tyler it was okay, that he understood. Oh. But he could see the panic in Tyler's eyes. So he just nodded and went back to Gatsby. Some conversations, he was learning, had to happen in their own time. Marcus didn't do parties. He'd made that clear from day one. But somehow, Tyler had convinced him to make an exception for Sarah's birthday celebration. "It's not even a real party," Tyler had insisted. "Just like 20 people, low-key, and I'll stay with you the whole time." That last part was what made Marcus agree. He told himself it was because parties were easier with a familiar face around. He didn't examine too closely why the thought of spending more time with Tyler made his pulse quicken. The party was at Sarah's house, a spacious place with the basement that had been transformed with string lights and a playlist of current hits. True to Tyler's word, it was relatively small, mostly people from their friend group and a few others from school. Marcus stationed himself near the snack table, with a soda, watching the social dynamics play out. Tyler was in his element, laughing with his teammates, charming Sarah's friends. But every few minutes his eyes would find Marcus across the room, checking in. "You must be Marcus," a girl said, appearing beside him. She was pretty, with dark, curly hair and a confident smile. "I'm Jenna. Tyler talks about you all the time." "He does?" "Oh yeah. Marcus thinks this." Marcus said that. Marcus took the coolest photo today. She mimicked Tyler's voice, grinning. "It's actually kind of cute." Marcus felt heat rise to his face. "We're just friends, Jenna's knowing look made Marcus uncomfortable. "Well, for what it's worth, I've known Tyler since middle school. I've never seen him like this with anyone." Before Marcus could ask what she meant, Tyler appeared at his side, slightly breathless. "Well, Jake." He noticed Jenna, and his expression shifted, becoming guarded. "What are you guys talking about?" "Oh, nothing," Jenna said innocently. "I was just getting to know your friend. I'll leave you two alone." She winked at Marcus and disappeared into the crowd. "What was that about?" Tyler asked, a slight edge too. His voice. "Nothing. She was just being nice." Tyler relaxed slightly, but his jaw was still tight. "Do you want to get some air? It's getting kind of loud in here." They ended up on Sarah's back deck, the cool October air a relief after the warmth of the crowded basement. The party noise faded to a dull thrum behind them. "You okay?" Marcus asked. "You seem tense." Tyler leaned against the railing, staring out at Sarah's darkened backyard. Marcus hadn't known. "That must be awkward." "Not really. We broke up like a year ago. It was mutual." Tyler paused. "Well, mostly mutual. She said I wasn't really been present in the relationship, that my heart wasn't in it. Was she right?" Tyler laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Yeah, she was. Tried, I really liked her. She's awesome. Smart, funny, pretty. On paper, we made perfect sense. But I felt like I was acting the whole time, playing the part of the boyfriend, saying the right things, doing the right things, but never actually feeling it." He turned to look at Marcus, and the raw honesty in his face made Marcus's breath catch. "Have you ever felt that way?" Marcus thought about the girlfriend he'd briefly had in sophomore year, before he moved to Riverside. How he'd gone through all the motions, convinced himself he just needed to try harder. How relieved he'd been when she broke up with him. "Yeah," Marcus said softly. "I have." "What did you do?" This was it. The moment where Marcus could deflect, change the subject, maintain the safe distance he'd been trying to keep. Or he could be honest. I stopped pretending, Marcus said. I accepted that I'm gay. The words hung in the air between them. Tyler's eyes widened, and for a horrible moment, Marcus thought he'd miscalculated. That Tyler was going to pull away, that their friendship was over. But then, Tyler's expression softened into something that looked like relief. How did you know? Tyler's voice was barely audible. How were you sure? Marcus's heart was pounding. It's different for everyone, but for me. I just knew I was never going to feel the right way about girls. And there was this guy. He stopped, suddenly aware that he was talking about his feelings in a way he never did. What about him made me feel something real? Not like I was acting or forcing it, just ... real. Tyler moved closer. Marcus could smell his cologne, something woody and warm. Do you still have feelings for him? No, that was a long time ago. Marcus looked up at Tyler, at the way the porch light caught in his eyes. I've moved on. To someone else? The question felt loaded with meaning. Marcus couldn't breathe properly. Maybe they stood there, inches apart, the October night wrapped around them. Tyler's hand came up slowly, hesitantly, and for one heart-stopping moment, Marcus thought, the door burst open behind them. Tyler, we're starting karaoke. Shh, Sarah called out, oblivious to what she'd interrupted. Oh, hey, Marcus, you should come sing too. The spell broke. Tyler stepped back quickly, running a hand through his hair. Yeah, we'll be right there. Sarah disappeared back inside, and Tyler and Marcus stood in awkward silence. We should. Tyler gestured toward the door. Yeah. But as they walked back inside, Tyler's hand brushed against Marcus's, and his pinky finger hooked around Marcus's for just a second, so brief it could have been an accident, but felt entirely deliberate. Marcus's skin burned where they'd touched. After the party, things got weird. Tyler started finding excuses not to study together. He'd sit on the opposite side of the classroom in English. At lunch, he'd be surrounded by his teammates. Laughing loudly at jokes that didn't seem that funny, Marcus told himself it was fine. This was what he'd expected all along. Tyler was pulling away because Marcus had made things awkward by coming out. It hurt more than Marcus wanted to admit, but it wasn't surprising. What was surprising was Tyler's behavior on the basketball court. Marcus had started photographing games for the school newspaper, a suggestion from his art teacher, who thought his eye for composition would translate well to sports photography. So he had a front row seat to Tyler's unraveling. Tyler had always been focused during games, almost ruthlessly so. But now, he was reckless, taking shots he shouldn't take, getting into it with refs, playing with an almost desperate energy that made Marcus's stomach twist. After a particularly rough game where Tyler fouled out in the third quarter, Marcus found himself waiting outside the locker room without quite meaning to. He told himself he was just doing his job, getting post-game quotes for his article. When Tyler emerged, his hair still damp from the shower, he looked exhausted. I don't want to talk to the press, he said, not quite meeting Marcus's eyes. Good. Thing I'm not actually pressed, then. Tyler's mouth twitched, almost a smile. Marcus, you fouled out? You never foul out. It's bad game. You've been having a lot of those lately. Tyler's jaw clenched. What do you want me to say? I want you to talk to me. The words came out more forcefully than Marcus intended. You've been avoiding me for 2 weeks. If me being gay makes you uncomfortable, that's not. Tyler cut himself off, looking around the empty hallway. Can we not do this here? Fine. Where? My car. Come on. They walked to the parking lot in tense silence. Once inside, Tyler's Honda, with the doors closed, and the outside world muffled, Tyler gripped the steering wheel so hard his knuckles turned white. It doesn't make me uncomfortable, he said finally. You being gay? It's not that. Then what is it? It's Tyler's voice cracked. You made it sound so easy, like you just accepted it and everything was fine. It wasn't easy, but you did it. 8. Figured out who you are, and you just own it. Tyler finally looked at Marcus, and his eyes were bright with unshed tears. How? How did you get to that point? Marcus's anger dissolved. Tyler. Everyone has all these expectations, Tyler continued, the words tumbling out now. My dad played college ball. My older brother's in the NBA Development League. I'm supposed to be this certain person, captain of the team, getting recruited by Division I schools, dating the right girls.
Right.
He laughed bitterly. Except I don't want to date girls. And every time I tried to convince myself I did, I just felt more and more wrong. And now I can't sleep and I can't play basketball right and I can't stop thinking about. He stopped abruptly, biting down on whatever he'd been about to say, thinking, about what? Marcus's voice was gentle. Tyler turned to face him fully, and the vulnerability in his expression made Marcus's chest ache. You, Tyler whispered. I can't stop thinking about you. The world seemed to stop. Marcus could hear his own heartbeat, could see his breath fogging slightly in the cold car. That night at the party, Tyler continued, his voice shaking. When you were standing there on the deck and you told me about accepting yourself, I wanted to kiss you so badly I thought I was going to explode. That terrified me. Tyler, I'm not gay, Tyler said, but it sounded like he was trying to convince himself. I can't be. My family, my team, everyone, they wouldn't understand. They'd look at me differently. I'd lose everything. Or, Marcus said carefully, you'd finally be yourself. Tyler shook his head. You don't get it. It's different for you. That stung. Different how? You're not the basketball captain. You don't have college scouts watching your every move. You don't have a father who talks about his son carrying on the family legacy. Tyler's voice rose. If I come out, I lose all of that. You don't know that? Yes, I do. Tyler slammed his hand against the steering wheel. And even if I didn't lose everything else, I'd still have to face my dad. Do you know what he'd say? What he'd think? Marcus wanted to reach out to comfort Tyler, but he could see the walls going up again. I can't do this, Tyler said, starting the car. I'm sorry, Marcus, I just... I can't. The ride to Marcus's house was silent. When they pulled up, Marcus sat for a moment, trying to find the right words. For what it's worth, he said quietly, I think you're brave. You're one of the bravest people I know. When you're ready, if you're ever ready, I'll be here. Tyler wouldn't look at him. You should go. Marcus got out of the car, and Tyler drove away before he'd even reached his front door. 3 days later, Tyler still hadn't spoken to him beyond necessary pleasantries in class. Marcus tried to respect his space while fighting, the urge to shake him and tell him it would be okay then. Jake started spreading rumors. Marcus heard it first in the bathroom between classes. 2 sophomores were talking while he was in a stall. Did you hear about Tyler Rodriguez, the basketball captain? What about him? Jake was telling everyone at practice that Tyler's been acting weird, skipping team hangouts, spacing out during practice. Jake thinks he's on drugs or something. No way, Tyler. I'm just saying what I heard. Marcus emerged from the stall, and the sophomores scattered, embarrassed. But the damage was done. The rumor was out there. He found Tyler at his locker. After school, we need to talk. Tyler's face was carefully blank. I have practice. Jake's telling people you're on drugs. That got Tyler's attention. His eyes widened. What? I heard some kids talking. He's trying to explain why you've been acting different. Tyler slammed his locker shut, and several people in the hallway turned. To look, he lowered his voice. He has no right. He's worried about you. They all are. Marcus stepped closer, lowering his own voice. Tyler, you can't keep doing this to yourself. The stress is eating you alive.
Oh!
You don't understand. Then, explain it to me, please. Tyler looked around the crowded hallway, at all the curious eyes that lingered on them whenever they talked. Not here. Come with me. He led Marcus to the school's photography darkroom, a small doorless space that the art department kept locked. But Tyler somehow had the key. Inside, surrounded by equipment and the chemical smell of developing solution, Tyler finally let himself fall apart. He leaned against the counter, his head in his hands, and his shoulders shook. I'm so tired, he said, his voice muffled. I'm so tired of pretending, of trying to be what everyone expects, of lying to myself. Marcus moved closer, his hand hovering near Tyler's shoulder, but not quite touching. So stop. It's not that simple. Yes, it is. It's terrifying and hard, and you might lose some people. But Tyler, you're losing yourself. Tyler looked up, tears streaming down his face. What if I lose everyone? What if my dad disowns me? What if the team turns on me? What if colleges pull their offers? What if they don't? Marcus countered. What if you find out who really cares about you versus who just cares about the image? And what about us? Tyler's voice broke. What if I'm wrong about this? What if I'm confusing friendship with something else? Are you? Tyler moved suddenly, closing the distance between them. His hand came up to cup Marcus's face, his thumb brushing across Marcus's cheekbone with heartbreaking tenderness. No, Tyler whispered. I've never been more sure of anything in my life. And that's what scares me most. They stood there, foreheads nearly touching, breathing the same air. Marcus's heart was racing so fast he thought it might burst from his chest. Tyler, Marcus started, but he didn't know how to finish. I'm not gay, Tyler said. But this time it sounded different. Not like denial, but like he was testing the words, hearing how false they rang. Am I? I'm not. I can't be... Hey. Marcus put his hand over Tyler's, where it still rested against his face. You don't have to have all the answers right now. You don't have to label yourself if you're not ready. But Tyler, he pulled back enough to look Tyler in the eyes. You can't keep torturing yourself. You have to let yourself feel what you feel. What if what I feel ruins everything? What if it saves you? Tyler closed his eyes and more tears slipped down his cheeks. Marcus had never seen anyone look so exhausted and so relieved at the same time. I think Tyler's voice was barely audible. I think I might be gay, or bi, or something. I don't know exactly what yet, but I know I've been lying to myself for years. And I know that what I feel for you is real. It's the most real thing I've ever felt. Okay, Marcus said softly. That's okay, is it? Yes. Tyler, whoever you are, whatever. You figure out about yourself, that's okay. You're okay? Tyler pulled Marcus into a hug, holding on like Marcus was the only thing keeping him from drowning. Marcus hugged him back, feeling Tyler's heart racing against his chest. Feeling the dampness of Tyler's tears on his shoulder. They stood like that for a long time. In the safe darkness of the dark room, while Tyler finally let himself fall apart and begin the painful process of putting himself back together as someone new. The next morning, Tyler was waiting by Marcus's locker. Hey, he said, and his eyes were clearer than Marcus had seen them in weeks. Hey yourself, so I did something. Tyler pulled out his phone, showing Marcus a text thread. I told Jake to shut down the drug rumors. Told him I've just been dealing with some personal stuff and to mind his business. How did he take it? He apologized. Said if I need to talk, he's there. Tyler smiled slightly. I'm not ready to tell him everything yet. But it felt good to at least stand up for myself a little. I'm proud of you. Tyler's cheeks flushed. I also wanted to ask... Are you doing anything Saturday? Marcus's heart skipped. Why? There's this photography exhibit downtown. I saw a flyer for it and thought you might like it. We could go if you want, as he hesitated, as whatever we are. I'd like that, Marcus said softly. They went to the exhibit on Saturday, and it felt like a date, even though neither of them said the word. Tyler stood close while Marcus examined the prints, listened intently when Marcus explained composition and lighting. And at one point, when the gallery was empty, let his hand brush against Marcus's. This is weird, Tyler said as they left the gallery. Good, weird, but weird. I keep wanting to hold your hand and then remembering we're in public. We don't have to rush anything, Marcus assured him. We can take this at whatever pace you need. What if I want to hold your hand? Marcus's breath caught. Then we find places where you feel safe doing that. They ended up at a park on the edge of town, walking along a trail that was mostly deserted on a chilly November afternoon. And there, with no one around to see, Tyler reached out and laced his fingers through Marcus's. Okay? He asked nervously. Marcus squeezed his hand. Perfect. They walked like that for almost an hour, or talking about everything and nothing. Tyler talked about basketball, about the pressure he felt from his father, about how scary but also freeing it felt to finally be honest with himself. Marcus talked about moving around so much, about how he'd learned to hide parts of himself too. Make it easier, about how exhausting it was to always be careful. "I don't want to hide with you," Tyler said as they sat on a bench overlooking a small pond. "But I'm also terrified of what happens when people find out. They will find out eventually. If we single quotes, right? If this is..." Marcus trailed off, not sure what to call what they were doing. "Dating," Tyler supplied. "Is that what we're doing? 'Cause I'd like to be." "Dating you?" Marcus's smile was so wide it hurt his cheeks. "Yeah, I'd like that too." "Okay, good." Tyler looked nervous but determined. "So we're dating, and people will find out eventually, but maybe we can figure it out as we go." "It one step at a time. One step at a time sounds good." Tyler leaned over slowly, giving Marcus plenty of time to pull away. When Marcus didn't, Tyler closed the distance and pressed a soft, tentative kiss to Marcus's lips. It was chaste and sweet, and over in seconds, but it left them both breathless. "Was that okay?" Tyler asked. "That was more than okay," Tyler grinned, and for the first time in weeks, he looked genuinely happy. The basketball team made it to the regional finals, which meant the entire school was buzzing with excitement. Marcus had been drafted into taking photos for a special edition of the school paper, which meant he'd be at the game. Tyler was a bundle of nerves in the days leading up to it. "It's not just the game," he admitted to Marcus during one of their now irregular evening phone calls. "My dad's coming. He never misses big games. And he's going to want to talk about recruitment, about my future, about carrying on the Rodriguez basketball legacy." "How do you feel about all that?" Marcus asked, even though he could hear the stress in Tyler's voice. "Honestly, I'm starting to think maybe basketball isn't my whole future. I love playing, I love the team. The idea of 4 more years, of this pressure in college and then maybe trying to go pro."
Tyler sighed.
"Have you thought about what you'd want to do instead?" "That's the thing, I have no idea. Basketball's been my whole life for so long. I don't know who I am without it." "No," Marcus said gently. "Maybe that's something worth exploring." "Hey, you've got time to figure it out?" "Not according to my dad. He wants me to commit to a school by Christmas. The night of the big game arrived with all the fanfare and pressure Tyler had anticipated. The gym was packed, the student section painted in school colors, and the opposing team was undefeated for the season. Marcus positioned himself courtside with his camera, trying to focus on composition and lighting rather than on how nervous Tyler looked during warm dash-ups. Then Tyler's dad arrived. Marcus had never met Mr. Rodriguez, but he was unmistakable. Tall, athletic build, the same sharp features as Tyler. He sat in the front row with Tyler's mom and older brother, his expression intense even before the game started. The game itself was brutal. The other team was good, better than good, and by halftime, Riverside was down by 12 points. Marcus could see the frustration on Tyler's face, could see him pressing too hard, trying to force plays that weren't there in the third quarter. Something shifted. Tyler seemed to let go of whatever was holding him back. He started playing with joy instead of desperation, making smart passes instead of forcing shots. The team rallied around him, and slowly, they clawed their way back. With 30 seconds left, and the score tied, Tyler got the ball at the top of the key. The gym went silent. Marcus held his breath, his finger poised on the camera shutter. Tyler could have taken the shot himself. He'd made that shot 1,000 times. But instead, he saw Jake cutting to the basket and made a perfect pass. Jake laid it in with 5 seconds left. The crowd erupted. The team mobbed Jake and Tyler. They'd won. In all the chaos and celebration, Marcus caught Tyler's eye across the gym. Tyler was grinning, genuinely happy, and he mouthed 2 words. "Thank you." Marcus wasn't sure what he was being thanked for, but he smiled back. After the game, Marcus was packing up his camera equipment when Tyler appeared, still in his jersey and dripping with sweat. "Great game," Marcus said. "That pass to Jake was perfect." "Thanks. Hey, my family's going out to dinner to celebrate." My dad wants to talk recruitment stuff, which is going to be super fun. Tyler rolled his eyes. And after maybe we could meet up. I have something I want to talk to you about. Sure. Text me when you're done. Tyler hesitated, then leaned in quickly and kissed Marcus's cheek. It was so fast that anyone watching might have missed it, but it left Marcus frozen. Tyler. Marcus looked around, but the gym was mostly empty now, except for a few stragglers. I know. I'm still figuring out the public thing, but I wanted to do that. Tyler was already backing away, a nervous but pleased smile on his face. I'll text you later. Tyler's text came at 10:30 that night. Tyler, can you meet me at the park? The one from last weekend? Marcus. Now. It's kind of late. Tyler. I know. I just really need to talk to you, please. 20 minutes later, Marcus found Tyler sitting on their bench, still wearing his jacket from dinner, looking out at the dark water of the pond. Hey, Marcus said, sitting down beside him. How was dinner? Complicated. Tyler turned to face him, and in the dim light from the park lamps, Marcus could see the telltale redness around his eyes. My dad spent an hour talking about Duke's basketball program and how it would be the perfect fit for me. My mom kept asking if I was okay because I was so quiet. My brother gave me this whole speech about making the family proud. That sounds exhausting. And the whole time, all I could think about was how I didn't want any of it. Not Duke, not the legacy, not the pressure. I just wanted to get out of there and see you. Tyler took a shaky breath. So when my dad finally paused to eat, I said, Marcus's heart started pounding. I said, what? I told them I'm gay. The words hung in the cold night air. Marcus couldn't breathe. Tyler, I know. I probably should have thought it through more, picked a better time, not done it in the middle of a crowded restaurant. But it just came out, and once I started, I couldn't stop. Tyler was talking fast now, the words tumbling over each other. I told them I've been struggling with this for years, that I tried to be what they wanted, but I couldn't anymore, that I'm dating someone who makes me happy. What did they say? Tyler's face crumpled. My dad didn't say anything, just got up and walked out. My mom started crying. My brother looked completely shocked, and I just sat there, feeling like I'd detonated a bomb in the middle of my family. Marcus pulled Tyler into a hug, feeling him shake. I'm so sorry. My mom drove me home after. My dad took a separate car, said she loves me, and she needs time to process, but she loves me, which I guess is better than nothing. Tyler pulled back, wiping at his eyes. But my dad won't even look at me, Marcus. He's so disappointed. His disappointment says more about him than it does about you. But he's my dad. I've spent my whole life trying to make him proud, and now Tyler's voice broke. Now, I don't think he'll ever look at me the same way. They sat in silence for a while, Marcus holding Tyler while he cried. Eventually, Tyler's tears slowed. I'm terrified, he admitted. What if the team finds out and they don't want me as captain anymore? What if the school finds out and people treat me differently? What if Duke hears about this and pulls their interest? Then you figure out what comes next, Marcus said firmly. Tyler, you were so brave tonight. I know it doesn't feel like it right now, but what you did, telling your truth even though you were scared, that took incredible courage. I told them about you, Tyler said quietly. I didn't say your name, but I said I'm dating someone from school, someone who's helped me figure out who I am. Marcus's chest felt tight. How do you feel about that? It's terrified, relieved, like I can finally breathe even though everything's falling apart. Tyler managed a weak smile. Is that weird? No, that sounds about right for coming out to your family. Will you? Hey. Tyler took Marcus's hand, threading their fingers together. Will you still be here? Even if things get messy? Because they're probably going to get really messy. I'm not going anywhere, Marcus promised. Tyler kissed him then, soft and sad and grateful all at once. When they pulled apart, Tyler rested his forehead against Marcus's. Thank you, he whispered, for being patient with me, for being you, always. They stayed at the park until midnight, talking through all of Tyler's fears and hopes and the uncertain road ahead. And when Marcus finally walked Tyler back to his car, Tyler didn't let go of his hand until absolutely necessary. By Monday morning, everyone knew. Marcus wasn't sure how the news had spread so fast. Maybe Tyler's brother had told his friends, maybe. Someone had overheard at the restaurant. Maybe small towns just worked that way. But the stares started the moment Marcus walked into school. He found Tyler at his locker, surrounded by his teammates. Jake was doing most of the talking, his voice low and serious. When Tyler saw Marcus's approach, something complicated crossed his face, relief mixed with apprehension. "Hey," Marcus said carefully. "Everything okay?" Jake turned, and to Marcus's surprise, he didn't look angry. He looked worried. "Can we talk?" he asked Tyler. "All of us somewhere private?" They ended up in an empty classroom. Tyler, Marcus, Jake, and two other senior team members, David and Chris. "So," Jake said, leaning against a desk. "Is it true? What people are saying about you?" Tyler's jaw clenched, and Marcus could see him fighting the urge to deflect or deny. "It depends on what they're saying, that you're gay. You came out to your family this weekend." Tyler glanced at Marcus, who gave him a small, encouraging nod. Then Tyler straightened his shoulders and looked his teammates in the eye. "Yeah, it's true. I'm gay." The silence that followed felt eternal. David and Chris exchanged glances. Jake's expression was unreadable. "Okay?" Jake said finally. Tyler blinked. "Okay? Yeah, okay. You're gay. That's okay." Jake ran a hand through his hair, looking uncomfortable, but not hostile. "Look, man, I'm not going to pretend I totally understand it. But you're still our captain. You're still the guy who just led us to a regional championship. That doesn't change because of who you're into." "Jake's right," David added. "I mean, it's going to take some getting used to. But you're still Tyler." Chris nodded his agreement. Tyler looked like he might cry. "You guys aren't... You're not mad?" "Mad? No. Surprised. Definitely, I mean, we all thought." Jake trailed off, shaking his head. "But it makes sense now. Why you broke up with Jenna. Why you've been so weird lately. You were dealing with this." "Yeah, and is this?" Jake gestured between Tyler and Marcus. "Are you two... ... Dating," Tyler confirmed, reaching for Marcus's hand. "Marcus and I are dating." Another moment of adjustment. But Jake just nodded. "Cool. Marcus seems like a good guy." Marcus finally found his voice. "Thanks. The rest of the team's going to have questions," David warned. "And not everyone's going to be as cool about it as we are." "I know," Tyler said. "I'm prepared for that. You won't have to deal with it alone." Jake clapped Tyler on the shoulder. "We've got your back, man.
Right.
Team sticks together." After they left, Tyler pulled Marcus into a fierce hug. "I can't believe that just happened," he said, his voice muffled against Marcus's shoulder. "Your friends care about you," Marcus said. "The people who matter are going to stick around." Tyler pulled back. And despite the anxiety Marcus could still see in his eyes, there was also hope. "Yeah," he said. "Maybe you're right." The next few weeks were a roller coaster. Some of Tyler's teammates were supportive, others were awkward, and a few made it clear they weren't comfortable with the situation. Tyler lost his starting position at power forward to Chris, not as punishment, coach assured him, but because team dynamics were complicated right now. But there were bright spots too. Sarah organized a team-building hangout that was transparently an excuse to show Tyler he was still part of the friend group. Jenna pulled Tyler aside to tell him she was proud of him and offered to run interference with anyone who gave him trouble, and Marcus was there through all of it. They started being more open at school, not making a big show of their relationship but not hiding it either. They sat together at lunch. They held hands in the hallways when Tyler felt brave enough. They were just them. Tyler's mom had started coming around. She asked to meet Marcus, and though the coffee shop meeting was awkward at first, she ended by hugging Marcus and thanking him for making her son happy. Tyler's dad was another story. He still wasn't speaking to Tyler, still refused to come to games. It ate at Tyler, but he was learning to live with the uncertainty. I wrote him a letter, Tyler told Marcus one afternoon as they sat in the photography darkroom, which had become their unofficial safe space. I told him I understand if he's disappointed, but I can't be someone I'm not. That I love basketball, but I'm also learning I might want to do other things. That I hope someday he can accept me, but I'm moving forward either way. Did he respond? Not yet. Maybe not ever. But I needed to say it. Marcus squeezed Tyler's hand. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of me too, Tyler said, and he sounded surprised by that. Like, genuinely. For the first time in my life, I feel like I'm actually being myself. How does it feel? Tyler smiled. Scary, but also kind of amazing. As Christmas break approached, Tyler made another decision. He called Duke and told them he was withdrawing his name from consideration. He said he was going to take a gap year, figure out who he was beyond basketball, maybe travel or volunteer or just work and save money. His coach was confused. His teammates were shocked. But Tyler seemed more at peace than Marcus had ever seen him. I might still play in college, Tyler explained to Marcus, but it's going to be on my terms. At a school I choose because I want to be there. It's not because of legacy or pressure or expectations. What do you want to do during your gap year? Tyler grinned. I was thinking maybe I could come visit wherever you end up for college. I hear college campuses are great for photography. Marcus's heart did a complicated flip. You'd do that? If you want me to? I mean, we'd be long distance for a while, which is going to be hard. But Tyler cupped Marcus's face in his hands. You helped me find myself. You were patient when I was figuring things out. You stood by me when everything got complicated. I'm not giving that up just because you're going to be at a different school for a few years. I love you, Marcus said, the words slipping out before he could stop them. Tyler's eyes widened, and then his smile was brighter than anything Marcus had ever seen. Yeah, Tyler asked softly. Yeah. Good, because I love you too. They kissed in the dark room, surrounded by the chemicals and equipment. In the space where Tyler had first started falling apart so he could put himself back together, and it felt like a beginning. Marcus adjusted his camera lens. Trying to capture the perfect shot of the quad at NYU, his first year of college had been everything he'd hoped for: challenging classes, a vibrant arts community, and the freedom to fully be himself. His phone buzzed with a text. Tyler, just landed at JFK. Still good to meet at Washington Square? Marcus, can't wait. See you soon. Tyler had spent the past year working at a community center in Riverside, coaching youth basketball and volunteering with an LGBTQ+ teen support group. He'd started taking online classes too, exploring interests beyond athletic psychology, sociology, education, and every few weeks. He'd fly out to New York to visit Marcus, or Marcus would go home to Riverside. It wasn't perfect, long distance was hard, and they missed each other constantly, but they made it work. Marcus had just finished packing up his camera. When he saw Tyler walking across the quad, backpack slung over one shoulder, that familiar smile spreading across his face when he spotted Marcus, they met in the middle. And Tyler pulled Marcus into a kiss that didn't care who was watching. Hi, Tyler said when they pulled apart. Hi yourself, Marcus grinned. How was the flight? Long, but worth it. Tyler kept his arm around Marcus as they started walking. So, I have news. Good news or bad news? Good news. Great news, actually. Tyler was practically bouncing with excitement. I got accepted to NYU's education program. I'm starting in the fall. Marcus stopped walking. Wait, what? Tyler, that's amazing. But I thought you were doing the online program at State. I was, but I realized I don't want to do long distance anymore. I want to be here with you. And NYU has one of the best education programs in the country. It just makes sense. But your mom, the community center, your support group, will all be there when I visit on breaks. Marcus, I've spent the last year figuring out who I am and what I want. And what I want is to become a counselor who works with LGBTQ+ youth. I want to be the person I needed when I was in high school. And I want to do that here, building a life with you. Marcus felt tears prickling at his eyes. You're sure? I've never been more sure of anything. Tyler pulled Marcus close again. Remember when you asked me how I knew I was ready to stop pretending? Yeah, I didn't know then, but I know now. I'm ready when being myself matters more than being comfortable. When the person I am matters more than the person everyone expected me to be. And Marcus Tyler's voice got soft. You helped me get there. You showed me what it looks like to be brave. You did that yourself, Marcus corrected. I just stood next to you while you figured it out. Then stand next to me for the next 4 years too. Marcus kissed him, soft and sweet and full of promise. Always, as they walked through Washington Square Park, hand in hand. Marcus thought about Tyler a year ago, terrified, closeted, convinced that being himself would cost him everything. Tyler had been right that it would cost him some things. His relationship with his father was still strained, though slowly improving. He'd lost a few friends who couldn't accept him. He'd walked away from the basketball future everyone had mapped out for him. But he'd gained so much more. Authenticity, peace, the freedom to explore who he wanted to be, rather than who he was supposed to be. Real friendships with people who loved him for who he was, and he'd found himself, which was perhaps the most important thing of all. Hey, Tyler said, squeezing Marcus's hand. What are you thinking about? Just how far you've come. Tyler smiled. How far we've both come. Yeah, Marcus agreed. That too. They had years ahead of them, college, careers, all the uncertainty and possibility that came with building a life. There would be challenges and setbacks, moments of doubt and difficulty, but they'd face it together. Two boys who'd learned that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop pretending to be someone you're not, and that being yourself, even when it's scary, is always worth it in the end.